Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining me for another work from home video. In today's video, we are going to be discussing some of the different ways that firm administrators in Zola Suite can track their staff's productivity while not necessarily being with them. So everybody might be scattered right now, working from home. Maybe a few people are still working in the office, but you want to get a picture of what everyone is doing. So Zola Suite is going to make it pretty easy for you to do that. And we are going to be discussing certain productivity reports, but I do want to first focus on the general time section of Zola. So I have that opened up already. This is an area where oftentimes if you're looking for information that may not be in one of our many accounting reports, you can actually get the information from right here. So sometimes people want to have a breakdown of their time entries with the description and the billable hours, and this is a really good place to get that information. In addition, it's a great place to see who has put in time entries, filter between the different users and different time frames. So I am going to jump over to the advanced search, which is always represented by this gear icon. I'm going to pop that open. And I want to do a custom range right now. I could also do the last 7 days, the last 30 days. So I'm going to go from the 8th to, say, the 14th. And I'm going to filter by one of my users and see if that user has significant activity for that time frame. And you can do this individually by user just to get a kind of raw data source for what they've done. You can also do this for your flat fees and expenses. Another thing that I love about this feature is that when you run any searches from here, whatever the results may be, they can be exported out through Excel. So if you do need to report to somebody else in the firm about what somebody's activity is, or even something unrelated to actual productivity tracking, you do have that ability to get this into a spreadsheet and present it with the data. So when I search, I am going to see some results here. You should hopefully see results for everybody, but if you don't, there are some other reports that you can look at before reaching out to them and asking them what they've been up to. So I can see that there have been time entries for the last few days that are pretty solid. And I can go through and look at the other pages and see if there are any discrepancies, anything that may have fallen a little bit short, and reach out to my user at that point. I can also look under accounting to see if that user has created or generated any invoices. So again, if I use the gear icon here, I can choose my user. So again, I'm going to use Robert DuPont because he has some activity on the books for the time frame that I'm looking at, which is the last 7 days. Hopefully he'll have some on the invoice levels as well. And maybe that's all I want to look for, is Robert DuPont and the last 7 days. So I can see that he did generate an invoice on April 9th. And I don't see if he has sent it because this date has not been filled in. That does not mean he hasn't sent it. It could mean that he sent it in an email. Maybe he did a blast. If he had shared it through Caseway, I would see that here. But I might want to reach out to him at this point and say, hey, I see you have an unpaid invoice. Did you send it out? When were you planning to send it out? In addition, I have certain reports that I can also consult for productivity purposes. And namely, those would be my timekeeper productivity and flat fee productivity. So I'd like to look at timekeeper productivity first. I really like the way this report is formatted. It gives you the different users. It gives the different types of time entries that they may have recorded in Zola Suite. It even gives flat fee amounts, adjusted and adjusted time. So there is a lot of information to be discovered in this report. And I can filter by date. So again, I might want to do the last 7 days. At any point, you can also choose a custom date range. So if you're looking to see the last 2 days, last 48 hours, last 72 hours, you can do that. But I am going to choose the last 7. And now I can look at all of the users that have something on the books for the last 7 days. And we do see that Robert DuPont is kind of sweeping the board here, but there may be a reason for that. Either way, we're able to compare and look at everybody's totals here. Now, if I jump over to flat fee productivity, this report is a little bit different, but as you can see, you do have the date range. So I could say custom, I want to see from the 8th to the 14th. And now I can see the different responsible attorneys, the hours worked, flat fees billed, flat fees collected. So again, if you are doing flat fee matters within the firm as part of your practice, this is a great report to have. Another area of Zola Suite that I'd like to point out, and feel free to peruse the reports because I'm sure there are plenty of other reports that you might personally prefer or like to add on to these two, just as examples that I gave, that will give you a little bit more information. But I'd also like to show you as an administrator how you can go into your firm settings and look at the activity log for the firm. This is going to mimic the activity log that you see on the matter almost identically, except for the fact that this is showing you all matters in one report. And you can go through here and see what everybody's been doing. You can do the advanced search here and go by user. So if you're getting an idea of how much a person has done in a single day, you can scroll through and look at that, see where they've gone, what they've done, about how much time they've spent doing something. So I see a lot of activity for Robert for today, the 14th. And I can go from there. And if I have any questions on anything that I'm seeing here, I can always go back to my user and ask them for a little bit more information. These are just some of the ways that you can track activity and productivity within Zola Suite. And I hope that this helps some of you who may be in a little bit of a shift right now, not being able to supervise in the same way that you were before. If you do have any questions about any of this, or perhaps other ways that you can be even more productive and aware of what's going on in your office, please feel free to reach out to support with any questions that you have. And as always, thank you for joining us.